What's up, YouTube? This is video number 4, I believe. So this video is going to be about my semen retention journey, how I started, what my experiences were, and not just how I started, but why I started. So in my early 20s, I was very insecure. And so prior to that, actually, working out, going to the gym, and wrestling when I was in high school, these things were deeply part of my identity. And I derived a lot of my sense of masculinity from these things, but really I was just insecure without them, and I depended on those things. So going to the gym became my identity, and I ended up hurting myself wrestling when I was in high school, and I got a shoulder injury a little bit later. And after those two events, especially after my shoulder injury, and beautiful view. So after my shoulder injury, I had a torn labrum, and then I dislocated my shoulder, which tore it really bad. I had to have surgery, and my shoulder wasn't the same, and I couldn't lift how I had lifted previously, which when I would lift before, I would just go 200%. I would push my body more than it could handle, and I pushed my body every single time I went to the gym. I wasn't loving my body, I was actually abusing my body, and that's part of why my shoulder had the initial tear. So after my injuries, I couldn't go to the gym the same way, and I'm not a big dude. I'm 5'9". Right now I'm about 175 pounds. So I was very insecure about my size. Long story short, I couldn't lift the same way, so what did I decide to do? I decided to use steroids. And I started using steroids in my early 20s, and I told myself, I can't lift the same, so I thought if I use steroids, then I'll get more gains without having to hurt my shoulder by lifting really hard. So this wasn't smart. It was all just based out of insecurity. So I started steroids. I did 2 cycles of steroids. And then I didn't want to keep doing the high dose, but I was scared to come off of them. So I did just like TRT doses. And keep in mind, I was ordering all of this crap off the internet. I had no idea who the hell made this. But yeah, so for years, I was on TRT doses. So if you don't know much about steroids, when you use exogenous hormones that are not being made by your own body, your body sees those hormones, it recognizes them, and it stops, or at least reduces, the natural production of those hormones. So your balls stop making as much testosterone. So I was on TRT doses for a long time. Even though I didn't really want to be doing steroids anymore, I kind of was sick of it. But I was scared. And I worried that if I stopped the testosterone injections, that my natural hormones would never be the same. So I was scared of that. I was scared how that would affect my body. And I was really scared of how it would affect my libido if I tanked my testosterone. So previously in my life, I would say I had a very unhealthy relationship with sex, like most people do, at least in the Western world, I think. And I coped a lot with my insecurities through having sex with women that I didn't care about and just seeking pleasure. So it was a deep fear for me that if I stopped these injections, I would lose that part of my identity. And in 2022, I decided, all right, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop the TRT. I'm gonna see what's the best way to get myself off this stuff and get my body to functioning normally again. And part of getting over the fear of stopping was also getting over the addiction to satisfying my sexual instinct. So my whole life before, from the time I discovered masturbating, pretty much I was masturbating and releasing every day of my life, unless I was like on vacation with family. I was pretty much releasing every single day of my life, often multiple times per day. And looking back, after having experience with semen retention now, looking back, it's like no wonder why I experienced so much anxiety for most of my life from the time I discovered masturbation. So much anxiety. So I decided that at first, I had never read anything about semen retention, I don't think. Never read anything about NoFap. For me, I just started it because I wanted to conquer that sexual instinct inside of me. I had the intense fear that was making me scared of stopping the TRT. So part of that was the fear of losing my libido. So I wanted to conquer that fear first by conquering my sexual instinct. So I decided, all right, it was November 2022. I decided, all right, I'm gonna do no nut November. I'm not gonna nut for the month of November. And that's what I did. That's what I didn't do. I stopped masturbating, which I had never done before. I had never done that unless I went on vacation with my family for a few days. And I just stopped. And I was committed, and God put it in me to have that in my heart. So it was mostly pretty easy. Okay, so like 5-6 weeks goes by where I didn't masturbate or release. Okay, actually, I might have still edged, I think, but I never released. And I think I at least mostly didn't watch porn. I think it's been a few years. So, anyways, I stopped releasing for like 5 or 6 weeks, which was extreme for the experience that I've had in my life of releasing every day. And when I decided, okay, I'm good, I can release again, there was a woman. She was my girlfriend at some point. I don't remember if she was my girlfriend still at this time, but for a while we were kind of in a friends with benefits relationship, which going forward, I would never do anything like that again. I definitely don't recommend it, but that's what was happening in my life at the time, years ago. So anyways, she came over and we had sex. And when I released, I had a totally new experience that I had never had in my life with an orgasm. So usually, I'm gonna put down my stuff real quick, explain this. Okay, so usually when I assume most men orgasm, it's like what the sensation of an orgasm is like. It's like this feeling. It starts in your ball area, kind of in your crotch, and as you release your seed, the sensation of the orgasm mostly goes like out and kind of expands through your crotch, but it goes out through your penis as you're releasing. So that's what the sensation is. Like it starts here and then it goes out. So when I had this experience after retaining for like 6 weeks, I didn't know anything about this. I released. And what happens? Instead of the orgasm going out, it goes backwards. And it went up from the base of it felt like a little ping pong ball. It went up the base of my spine, up through my spine, up to the top of my head, and it came around my head, dropped down here, and expanded. And when it expanded, it was like, it expanded through my whole body. It was like a waterfall through my whole body of the sensation. And I had never had that experience before, so I was like, what the heck was that? I have never had that experience. That was bizarre. And I had heard about Kundalini before. And this was like that sensation, but not as intense. And it didn't come with any like spiritual explosion in my mind of how I was viewing reality or anything like that. Real quick, here's another pretty view. Okay, back to the story. So yeah, it didn't come with any spiritual insights or anything like that. It was just the physical sensation. And it was totally bearable. Like when you read about Kundalini experiences, people talk about how it was like intense and hard for them to handle. It was like an energy overload. So basically it was similar to what people describe as a Kundalini experience, but it wasn't intense like people describe a Kundalini awakening to be. So anyway, that was my first experience with semen retention. And right after that, that's when I started my recovery from having abused my body with exogenous hormones. And now I'm fine. I got great energy, especially when I do semen retention. And I think the body is resilient and it can do plenty of healing as long as we give it love, we live right, we put good things into it. And yeah, actually my energy, especially since I started semen retention for real, being committed to it, my energy is better than it's ever been in my life. So that was my first experience with semen retention. That one opened my eyes to there being something deeper to the sexual energy that we have inside of us. And at that time, I wasn't so committed that I continued with semen retention. I fell back in the habit of masturbating quite a bit and seeking sex. And then eventually I got on the train for real. And what semen retention has been like for me is every time you get a taste of it, the insight deepens a little bit inside of you of how valuable and how critical it is that you actually be doing it. And for that insight to really deepen, you have to fall off the wagon and you have to release, fall back into your habits. So it's like you have an initial experience and you see, whoa, I've been missing that my whole life. I didn't even realize I was wasting that energy that would build me up and give me confidence and give me energy and motivation and creativity. So you get a taste of it and then it becomes kind of normal for you and you don't realize how good it is and you slip, you release, and then you see, oh, okay, now I feel the loss of energy. Okay, and then you might slip into the habit again for a while. Then God's gonna put it in you again to jump on the semen retention train. And then it's going to sink deeper. You're going to see more deeply, okay, yes, I need this. I have to be doing this. And every time you slip, you're closer and closer to being to being dissolved to being committed to the semen, but it's not even a commitment because it's going to become natural. So I made a video last week, I think, about my recent streak that ended. It was my longest streak, and I was at, I think what I counted after that video was, I was actually at 97 days. I was almost at 100 days, and I had sex with my girlfriend, and I accidentally released. But thankfully, since I had been retaining for 97 days, what I felt is I didn't lose that much energy. I lost some for sure, but I didn't lose that much. I still had an abundance of it. So since then, it's been, let me think, today it's been 8 days. And I haven't released again, don't plan to. And so this time it's been easier to not release. Every other time when I release, it's right after you release, you're like, oh, okay, let me let this energy keep coming out of me. And I said this in my last video, that desire after an accidental release, or I mean, maybe it was intentional, but that desire to keep releasing, that is the energy that you are holding in. That is that. So if you can just hold on to it just for a little while, let the urges pass, you'll still have all of that energy. Not all of it. You lost a little bit from the initial release, but just don't keep going crazy. So, all right, I'm gonna stop this video here. I'm hiking. Oh wait, I'm gonna show you guys my favorite spot at this hike. I'm almost there, and then I gotta boogie out of here because I hear thunder. Okay, this is my favorite spot. I hope the camera can capture it. Yeah, look at that view. So there's one creek coming from there, one creek coming from up there, and then the creeks they meet right there, and there's this like cliffy outcrop. Very cool. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm going to keep making videos about semen retention and interesting experiences I've had and other relevant topics. Leave comments if you have any, leave questions if you have any questions, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for checking out this video. One more thing. So I like to make these videos when I'm out in nature. And when I'm out in nature, I like to be finding cool little critters, animals, flowers, mushrooms. It's been my favorite passion or hobby since I was a little kid. So I was thinking at the end of each of these videos, I'm gonna put a short little clip of something really cool or beautiful that I found. So I'm gonna add that after this, and if you guys watch this video and you make it this far, I would appreciate it if you let me know if you like that idea and if you enjoy the little clip that I leave at the end. Let me know. Thanks. All right, check this out. This is a Gulf fritillary caterpillar. Pretty freaky looking. It does not sting, and it likes these passion flower vines. So I mean, these are two pretty crazy looking creatures. You got this spiky caterpillar right here. Look at that thing. And then this crazy alien looking flower from this vine. Let's see if I can find any fruits on this thing. Oh, here's a fruit. All right, let me know if you guys enjoyed the nature clip at the end or not.